Hello, welcome to No Sevens Dice Club. Thank you for tuning in today. It is 1 a.m. and as Scott Van Pelt says, I'm not tired. Well, he's right, I'm not tired, I'm exhausted. So if I sound a little sleepy, I'm sorry guys, but let's get this going. I'm ready to roll out some picks. Last week we went 2-3 again, and so we're 8-10 for the season, and 2019 is starting to look harder and harder to achieve, but we're just going to keep going and seeing how we're doing. The three things we learned: 93 top 25 teams have lost in the first 4 weeks. And you're thinking to yourself, wow, that's a lot of teams. I wonder when the last time that happened. That was 1936 was the last time we had 93 top 25 teams lose in the first 4 weeks. So it just gives you something to think about. You know, I know some people are having some success, doing fairly well, but you know, some of the sports bettors and stuff, but not everybody, including no sevens. But you know, I mean, I'm 8-10, so you know, anything's possible. Had a losing month for September, but it happens. You know, I had a losing month in October last year, but I've never had a losing season since 2015. Trying to keep that trend going. All right, and next we're going to talk about Clemson playing NC State, and just like I predicted, NC State you know, dominated and took care of business. They beat Clemson. So who wants to be the king of the ACC? North Carolina struggling with Mac Brown at the helm. So it's, you know, we're trying to figure out, you know, Clemson's been the anchor for the ACC for so long, and we're always the pinnacle to reach it. And well, they're not the pinnacle anymore. So it's quite interesting to see who's going to be the ACC. And I think this is with the ACC struggling and the Pac-12 gaining ground. I think the Pac-12 is going to be that Final Four team we're looking for. I do see probably 2 SEC teams getting in this, one in the West and one in the East. You know, and I understand the conference championship in December is going to make a difference, but I do see probably 2 SEC teams, and unfortunately, guys, that's the way it's going this year. For all those people who can't stand the SEC. So next up is the Big Ten. Is it Penn State's year? Ohio State's struggling. Penn State's still playing pretty good, but if you notice, they barely squeaked out a win against Auburn. And Auburn almost lost to Georgia State. That's the reason why I have that 3, because they couldn't handle business and they almost lost. And we're going to go over that a little bit more when we're talking about LSU, which leads me into our bully picks. We're going with Florida, Army, LSU, Iowa State, and Ohio State. And LSU, it can be a little tricky if you don't want to put that one on there. But the ones I'm certain about is Florida, Army, Iowa State, and Ohio State. So I was mentioning to you about Penn State and Auburn. Bo Nix has been benched. LSU's transfer quarterback is TJ Finley. He's from Ponchatoula, Louisiana. 30 miles... about 50 miles from New Orleans, 45 miles from Baton Rouge. He's always wanted to be an LSU Tiger. He's 6'6", 240 pounds. He's a sophomore now, playing for Auburn. And he's a really good quarterback, great arm. His brain, and I don't like to talk bad about the quarterbacks, but his brain, when he was with LSU, could not understand the plays and the breakdown of the plays so quickly. So he was struggling with not only the plays, but the reaction time. And his brain just couldn't keep up with the fast movement of the SEC and college at the time. That's the reason why you have Max Johnson, who's the LSU starting quarterback, take over the last 2 games, who won at Florida last year in the fall. Crazy game. And beat Ole Miss at their season finale. And then he became the starting quarterback this season after Miles Brennan broke his arm on a fishing accident. And Max Johnson has proven that he's doing really well. He has over 1,100 yards, and he also has, I think it's about 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So he's leading this offense, and this offense for LSU is finding their identity. Auburn is actually taking a step back. Now, TJ Finley understands what LSU's defense is. He played against them. He was even at the spring, and I think up till May, maybe into June this year with LSU. So he knows this defense. He knows what to expect. He knows how to read it. He knows everything in and out about LSU. So this is going to be a very close game. They're playing at LSU, and I understand TJ is going to want to prove his point that he should have been the starting quarterback for LSU, and that he's upset that he was not nominated. He finished number 3 and was getting ready to finish number 4. That's the reason why he left. Because the freshman quarterback actually was pushing him out the way. Max Johnson is going to prove to everybody that this offense is going, that they're getting their receivers, and these receivers are really starting to understand this pro-style NFL offense. So with that being said, Auburn's going to have a really good defense, but I think with LSU at home and what this game means to Ed Orgeron and everybody else, with them proving that it was the right decision to go with Max, I'm definitely going to take LSU minus the 3.5, but I'm going to buy down that half a point, so I'm going to take LSU minus 3. All right, guys, and if it echoes a little bit in here, I'm sorry. I had to move some stuff. I'm working on a top secret project to bring you guys some really good craps videos in the future. Things are in motion. I know I haven't produced a lot of craps videos in the past couple of months, but I have something really big I'm working on behind the scenes. And if you guys give me a couple more weeks, I should unveil something really cool. Next up is Florida at Kentucky. Florida played really well against Tennessee. They're proving that they're going to be something pretty special this year with Dan Mullen being the head coach and the way they're going with Jones and everything else as the quarterback. Kentucky is undefeated right now. They're playing really well, but they have not played the competition level that Florida has. And I really think that they're going to run into a road grind right now because they got to play Florida, they got LSU, and they have Georgia. And they have one more team, I can't think off the top of my head, in October. So that perfect, unblemished September record, it's about ready to go in the shredder. Florida's minus 8.5 in this. I would like to buy down to 1.5, but those get expensive really quick. But I do like Florida. If I do take this Florida game, and if I was to bet it, I would take Florida minus 7 because I think Florida's going to dominate this. Their defense is playing lights out right now, just like Georgia. Their offense is starting to click. They're really starting to understand everything. And this is going to be just like the Tennessee game it was last week when Florida beat Tennessee by, it was like, what, 14-17 to 31, and then they scored, and Florida scored that touchdown at the last second. I really do believe that that's how this game's going to go. I think Florida's just going to roll Kentucky and keep on cruising until they come up against that Florida-Georgia game coming up very soon at the end of October. But Florida needs style points and to keep on winning and to keep on understanding their quarterback and everything else to get ready for that Georgia game coming at the end of this month. So let's go ahead and take Florida. We're going to buy down at half a point. So it's going to be Florida minus 7. Alrighty, to all my fans out there who loves Army, who told me no 7s, you got to hop on that Army bandwagon. Well, we're hopping on that bandwagon again. They did us really well last week. I like them against Ball State. I think they're going to handle business. There's really not a lot to dissect, but we're just going to go ahead and take Army because they're having a magical year. This is their year to do something great, just like it was in 2019. And I took Army every single week pretty much that in 2019, just like I took LSU pretty much every single week in 2019. So I'm going back to what worked in 2019, and that's taking Army minus 7.5, but I'm going to buy down at half a point. So it's going to be Army minus 7 at Ball State. All right, I did have another game up there, and I went ahead and erased it. That's the reason why there's a gap between Army and Ohio State. It was the Mississippi State game against Texas A&M. I was leaning on Texas A&M, and then I kind of did some more research, and I just went ahead and erased it. I think it's going to be too close of a game. I don't like the 9 points, the 9 point spread. Boy, try to say that 5 times fast. There's just too many weird things going on with that game that I think it's going to be a lot closer. But Mississippi State really has not been covering their spread, so I'm not quite sure on if I was going to pick that game. So next up is Ohio State at Rutgers. We are going to go ahead and we are going to take. I'm sorry, guys. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm tired. We're going to break down Ohio State. Ohio State is rebounding. They got to start gaining traction for the Big Ten because they know they got Penn State is on a roll. Wisconsin played pretty well, but they didn't win. There's a lot of things. Notre Dame is starting to gain a lot of traction also, but Notre Dame, as I believe, is with the ACC right now. So with everything going on in the Big Ten, like I said, is it Penn State's here? Is Ohio State going to come back? Ohio State just doesn't have a defense right now, and that's the hardest thing for them. Without that defense, kind of like Clemson's offense, you can score 1,000 points, but if the team can't stop anybody and your defense is allowing opposing team to score 2,000 points, it does you no good to have the best offense in college football. But they're playing at Rutgers. I think that defense is going to find its way against Rutgers. Now, don't get me wrong. Rutgers is a really good team this year. And I'm not saying that they're going to blow the doors off them. That's the reason why it's only minus 15. But I do think Ohio State's going to keep up and keep scoring. And eventually that defense is going to slow down Rutgers enough. So I think it's going to be a close game as far as points go with the spread. But in actuality, I think Ohio State's going to just dominate this game from start to finish. But I do expect Rutgers to score some points. So Ohio State's minus 15. So I'm going to take Ohio State, buy down that point at minus 14. Alrighty, guys, I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes, not only for you, but for me when it comes to editing. So that way I don't have to spend 4 hours doing this. Next up is Kansas at Iowa State. Kansas scores points, but they're just a complete dumpster fire right now. Iowa State's given up 36 points in this game. This is a lot. I think this is the biggest spread so far this season. I think last season I saw a 50 point spread. But Kansas scores an average of 14 to 20 points a game. I expect them to score points in garbage time. I expect Iowa State to handle business. I don't know how serious Iowa State's going to take this game because they do have competition coming up after this game. So are they going to be looking ahead? Are they really going to be playing their full force? How much of the starters are going to play in this game? That's the question that I'm looking at. I expect the starters probably to play the half. Third and fourth quarter, you're going to put in the second and third string. And then in the end of the fourth quarter, you're going to be putting in the cheerleaders and the water boys. So I expect Kansas to start scoring points in the second half. So I really like my dark horse pick, and I've been leaning back and forth on this, but I think Kansas State is going to cover that spread. And so I'm going to take Kansas plus 36 in this. I know Iowa State's going to win this game flat out, right? But I think Kansas is going to keep this close. I don't know if Kansas is going to win a game this season. They might win one or two, but they got a lot to work with. Ever since the firing of Les Miles, it's just been chaotic, and there's just a lot of stuff they need to work out with that. But guys, that's pretty much about it. I'm right now at 14 minutes and 30 seconds, so I'm sorry if I kind of rushed this. I know I went over in detail some games, but it really didn't go over a lot of games. But you guys, this is my prediction. The bully picks are Florida, Army, LSU, Iowa, and Ohio State. And like I said, good luck out there. Hopefully No Sevens has a great week, great month of October. Start winning some games. and wish you guys lots of luck and enjoy Saturday.